The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
At first, we hit your gadgets with our state-of-the-art digitalized mobile studio with the debate on the road behind the wheels. Later, we launched our magnificent studios located on Plot 1A, Sawagude Close, Lukulinanganda, Machindye, Kampala, where we bring to you our must-watch shows like The Mighty Drive, Monday to Friday, 8 a.m., Hotline, Mondays, 7 p.m. As for legal matters, Twins at Bar, Tuesdays, 11 a.m. Wednesdays, 6 p.m. is Afro-Caribbean Link, where we connect Africa with the Caribbean. Voltage on Thursdays, 7 p.m., featuring a youthful panel. Interface with Dr. Kiza Besige every Friday, 12 p.m. with his call to action against injustices. Snap Talk, Saturdays, 6 p.m. with the trio. A must-watch, The Political Dice, Sundays, 8 p.m. with the duo that never stammers, and so much more. Watch us live on all our social media platforms. We are The Alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Good morning, Uganda. Welcome to this edition of the Mighty Drive Show. My name is Edgar, Mathew, Karuhanga. Today is Tuesday, the 18th day of February. The year is 2025, and of course I welcome you to yet another insightful morning where we get to give you coverage of how the country is looking like yet again in this particular day. The country of Uganda has a lot of news stories that are going on, and of course we as Digitalk TV committed or still commit to actually serve you, giving you accurate information that can help you make an informed decision at the end of the day. Today I have a gentleman. He is not new to Digitalk TV, but of course this is a new conversation. He is one of the founding members of the People Power Movement and also a former personal aide to His Excellency Bobi Wine or Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, the leader of the opposition National Unity Platform. So we touch base on what is happening in the country today, and we shall be talking about many things, because as the country is looking like this morning, a lot is there to actually talk about. Abatukumiddeko olunaku luno olwaleero mbaniriza nnyo ddala wano ku Digitalk TV. Nze Edgar Mathew Karuhanga. Ennaku z'omwezi ziri 18 omwezi gwa 2 omwaka 2025. Bingi ebigenda maaso mu ggwanga lya Uganda, omuli amawulire genina okuva ewa retired Colonel Dr. Kiza Besige, Robert Kyagulanyi naye na ku mawulire. Of course bingi ebyadde bigenda maaso mu ggwanga, ebisinga bya bufuzi era tetulina ngeri gye tusobola kubanga tubyewala. Era olunaku luno olwaleero tugenda kuba tubyogerako byonna ebiri ku Dr. Kiza Besige. Naye ate buli twogera ku zino emboozi tuba twagala tusobole nga okuleetawo okusoomooza oba challenge eri abantu abatukulembera okubanga basobola okukyusamu ku bice biba bigenda maaso muli neggwanga. Gwegwo omulimu gwaffe ffe nga bannamawulire be bayita the fourth estate. Ffe tubeerawo okubeera nga bakalabirizi okulaba bice bigenda maaso, okuwabula nga tukozesa obujulizi ku bice bye tuba tulabyeko, ne tuwabula nga tulowooza nti naffe y'engeri gye tuzimbamu eggwanga lyaffe lino erya Uganda. Olunaku olwaleero nyina omwami bamuyita Tumuhairwe Dennis. Ono omusajja yali omu ku bantu abatandika ekisinde ekya People Power Movement, era y'omu ku bantu abali nnyo close ku mwami Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. Ennaku zo tebakyalya kimu, ajja kutubulira lwaki era ye atuwe ku ndowooza ye ku bigenda maaso mu ggwanga, kuba bingi ebigenda maaso mu ggwanga. Katandikireko ndowooza ewa retired Colonel Dr. Kiza Besige. Dr. Kiza Besige abadde mabega wa mitayimbwa kuva mu mwezi ogwa Museenene omwaka oguwedde paka kati, ng'awerennemba n'emisango gyamutekewako egyogezaako okulya mu nsi olukwe kye wuyita treachery, okubeera bamusanga n'ebyokulwanyisa weapons, possession of weapons, n'okugezaako okufuna ensimbi ezinajja obuyinza mu government kyeyita mobilization to destabilize the country. Emisango egyo gibadde giwerennemba mu General Court Martial, naye Supreme Court oba kooti esinga ddala obukulu mu ggwanga lya Uganda yasala omusango negamba mbu tekikkirizibwa abantu ba bulijjo okubanga bakyagingibwa oba kubanga bavunaanyizibwa emisango mu kkooti ey'amagye. So Dr. Kizza Besigye okuva olwo abadde nga tewali kyakoleddwawo kubanga bamuta. Kati Dr. Kizza Besigye abadde ne hunger strike obadde ng'ali mu kwekalakaasa kw'obutalya mmere ng'agamba nti be bamukwatiddeko bino ekisooka talina kubeera namukomera we twogerera kubanga kkooti yo yakola okusalawo negamba emisango gyonna egibadde mu general court martial at least bagiteeke mu civilian courts. So Dr. Kizza Besigye okuva olwo paka kati abadde agezaako okubanga ng'ayita mu bannamateeka bwe okubanga bawaaba okulemesa biki ebigenda mu maaso. In fact bawaaba nekyoyita habeas corpus mu kkooti enkulu bannamateeka ba Dr. Besigye nga bagamba nti Dr. Besigye aleetebwe mu kkooti oba mulamu obanga mufu. So mu mbeera eyo Dr. Kizza Besigye gy'abadde akyalimu. So abadde nga tali bulungi because of the hunger strike era we twogerera nti twafunye ku mawulire nti yafulumiziddwako n'ekkomera n'atwalibwa ku private clinic y'emu ey'omu ku basawo be. In fact kyatandise n'okubanga n'abasawo omu ku basawo be kyewaliisa official doctor prisons yamuyise asooka ajja alabe ku Dr. Kizza Besigye kyaleeseewo okweraliikirira eri ab'eŋŋanda nga bakulembeddwamu omukyala wa Dr. Kizza Besigye Winnie Byanyima. So mwebyo nebigenda maaso mu ggwanga Dr. Kizza Besigye yatwaliddwa in one hospital gyetwawuliddeko ebugoloobi gana mawulire twagajje wa minister wa ICT Chris Baryomusi yeyagambye nti Dr. Kizza Besigye yatwaliddwa mu clinic y'emu ebugoloobi okubanga afuna further treatment mu ngeri eyo yennyini. So Dr. Kizza Besigye yayongerayo n'okubanga yeekalakaasa ng'era agamba tekikkirizibwa kubanga ali mabega w'amitayimbwa naddala nga kkooti enkulu yakola okusalawo omwezi ogwedde ennaku z'omwezi ali 31. Minister ow'ebyamateeka Justice and Constitutional Affairs omwami Norbert Mao yavuddeyo n'akakasa nti emisango gyonna oba okusalawo okwakolebwa kkooti enkulu kwatandise dda okubanga kuteekebwa mu nkola. Norbert Mao yagambye nti byonna bino DPP emisango ali mu kubanga agiorganizinga ne Attorney General yalagidde dda court martial okubanga emisango gino gyonna egihandinga over eri civilian courts. Magambye nti ennaku z'omwezi 31 omwezi oguwedde ogwa Gatonnya omwaka 2025 guno gwennyini kkooti eno enkulu yasalawo nti tekikkirizibwa muntu wa bulijjo kubanga awere nemba n'emisango mu general court martial neesaba bwe baba baagala basobola okubanga bafuula kkooti eno competent court bamuteekeko lwaliise ba judicial officers abantu abaasoma amateeka okubanga bamanyi n'engeri gye basobola okuwaamu abantu obwenkanya. So kyekyo by'ebimu ku biragiro ebyakolebwa kkooti enkulu ng'ekulembeddwamu Chief Justice Alphonse Owinyi Dolo mu mbeera eyo yennyini. So Dr. Kizza Besigye yeebibye waligambye mbu si birungi nnyo naye ekirungi ekikakasibwa nti abasawo be batandise dda okubanga bamujjanjaba katusuubire nti ajja kubanga atereera mu mbeera eyo yennyini. Nga tukyali ku nsonga za Dr. Kizza Besigye famire ye nga gy'osobola okugamba the Byanyima family nabo bafulumizza ekiwandiiko nga kyogera oba nga kiwoninga ku ngeri Dr. Kizza Besigye gy'ayisibwamu ne bawa okulabula mu kiwandiiko kino balaze nti bo they are not political in nature tebali ku bintu bya bufuzi naye bo bafa ku muntu waabwe oba omwagalwa waabwe ye tebamulabanga gwe walabye opposition oba presidential candidate no bo bamulabanga mukwano gwabwe muganda waabwe era basabye nti waliwo ebyonna ebiri ku Dr. Kizza Besigye leka babikole mu ngeri egenda okubanga ekuuma obulamu bwe omwami ono yennyini. Nga malize ensonga zino omwami Muhoozi Kainerugaba ono nga ye CDF ate nga ye omu ku bawozi bwa president ku nsonga ennenkusifu waki walise special affairs omwami ono owa special operations sorry Muhoozi yavaayo n'akakasa nti Dr. Kizza excuse me yavaayo n'akakasa nti Dr. Kizza Besigye tagenda kubanga ateebwa era nga yayogera ne ku kyokubanga bamuwanika abantu abasinga in fact amagye kyagagambye nti bigambo bya Muhoozi Kainerugaba personally omwami koleji yaziyita musings eza Muhoozi Kainerugaba naye kyewuunyisa musings zino how much of a joke are they really oba actually tusobola okuba nga tuzitwala seriously because bino byonna ebigenda mu maaso biraga nti obulamu bwa Dr. Kizza Besigye tebuli bulungi era n'abantu byanyima family ekyo kye bayogedde nti buli kimu ekigenda mu maaso kiraganga ebintu ebitali bulungi ku side ya Dr. Kizza Besigye obulamu bwe tebuli bulungi era buli mu matigga mu mbeera eyo yennyini. Atuveeko kaawo naye era nga tukyali in line n'ensonga za Dr. Kizza Besigye. Ba opposition players bonna ba meetings olunaku lw'eggulu. Ba opposition players ngamba political party ezigezaako kubanga zikyusa obuyinza mu ggwanga lino omuli National Unity Platform, omuli Alliance for National Transformation n'ebibiina ebirala Congress Party CP, byonna abakulembeze bano ba meetings wali e Makerere Kavule ku offices za National Unity Platform ne basobola okubanga bakola ku nteekateeka ngeri ki gye bagenda okubanga bayambamu opposition player waabwe. In fact omwami Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu abadde mu ssaala ennyo mu kwogera ku biki ebigenda mu maaso naddala mu bulamu bwa Dr. Kizza Besigye n'agamba nti bino bye mulaba bitandika mpola mpola naye bisobola n'okubanga bituuka ku munnayuganda yenna. Omwami ono afulumiza ebiwandiiko ebiwera ku mikutu gye gimukwanira wala omuli X ne Facebook nga awakanya biki ebiri mu kukolebwa ku Dr. Kizza Besigye era omwami ono yabadde musaale nnyo okubanga agamba bannange opposition ke kaseera mwegatte awamu musobole okubanga mwogera ku nsonga zino ezibaluma. So ba meetings olunaku lw'eggulo wali ku kitebe kya National Platform tetumanyi oba banaakolera ewamu. Manyi meetings opposition zo zibaddengawo mirundi mingi ng'olaba opposition players bamiitinga naye ng'oluusi batera okwebuuza kiki ekibagatta. Katusuubire nti leero waliwo ensonga ey'amaanyi ya Dr. Kizza Besigye ebagatta bo ng'abakulembeze mu nsonga ezo zennyini. So ba meetings olunaku lw'eggulo wali e Kavule Makerere. After that meeting wabaddewo ebyaguddewo ebitabadde birungi nnyo era nga bye bituleeta ku story eddako eya omwami chairman Nyanzi ngono yakulembera okukunga oba kyoyita mobilization mu kisinde ekya National Unity Platform nga awamu ne Waiswa Mufumbiro. Omwami ngono ye deputy spokesperson oba amyuka omwogezi w'ekibiina kya National Unity Platform bawambiddwa oba abducted, batwaliddwa abantu abadde bakutte amamundu naye nga bali mu ngoye eza bulijjo layers wali e Makerere. Abantu according ku bantu ababaddewo abantu abalabye ku nsonga zino abantu bano baba basazeeko nga bali e Makerere ku bbiri era nga bagamba nti bano babadde bakava ku meeting oba mu meeting eyabaddewo ya opposition players chairman Nyanzi ne Waiswa Mufumbiro. After that particular meeting baba sanze mu motoka nga bali around kubiri we baba kwatidde ne batwalibwa ku kifo ekitannaba kubanga kikakasibwa paka essaawa zino. Aba National Unity Platform batandise ddala n'okubanga bamobilizinga oba kubanga basaba bannayuganda baveeyo boogere ku nsonga zino naddala nga zitandise okubanga zibakwatako mu mbeera eno yennyini gye tulimu. Jjukira omwami Muhoozi Kainerugaba ennaku ntono emabegako sabbiiti ewedde yapostinga ku mukutu gwo gwa X nti kyagenda okubanga akola ba NUP tebagenda kubanga bakyagala. Omwami ono yakyogera kaati ng'omusezi agula essowaani nti njigula kuliirako bantu. Yamugamba nti sebo abantu ba NUP munansonyiwa kye ŋŋenda okubanga mbakola. That was a warning that the CDF gave. Ekireetera okubanga tulina okubanga tutwala ebigambo by'omwami ono byakola seriously okubanga tetubiyisaamu lugaayu. Bannayuganda abasinga babitwala ng'ebyokubalaata oba joking naye nga tekibeera very good mu mbeera yennyini. So twogerera nga omwami Muhoozi Kainerugaba we yamala okwogera ebigambo bino tutandise okubanga tulaba aba National Unity Platform. Sabbiiti ewedde era waliwo abaana ba NUP bewaliise ba foot soldiers oba beyita ba foot soldiers abakwatibwa era omwami Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu n'abayogerako n'abapostinga n'asaba public eyambe okubanga esaba abantu bano. Kati sabbiiti eno yennyini omu ku abaganda be kubanga chairman Nyanzi ye mukulu wa Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu ate ne Waiswa Mufumbiro y'omu ku boogezi ate nga ye close ally owa Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. So bitandise naye ate okukwatibwa kuno tetunnakakasiza ddala lwaki naye kuzze oluvannyuma lw'akatambi akabadde katambula ku mikutu egy'enjawulo nga kalaga ba foot soldiers bano ku lunaku olw'amazaalibwa ga Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu nga bakoze parade wali ku offices za National Unity Platform nga bayimba ku nnyimba ze waliise mu history oba mu byafaayo byaffe ezi revolutionary nyimba ez'abalwanyi. Yes, wadde olaba that particular video engeri gyebadde bayimbamu n'engeri gyebadde bakoze parade ate n'engeri gyebadde bambaddemu kubanga onaadde bambadde bimyufu ne boots oluusi ez'abannamagye ekyaleseewo absence of militarism. Era waliwo abantu abayogedde ku nsonga zino, abantu ba bulijjo nno ku exoko nga bali worried nti ate kati muzeemu ebyafaayo byaffe ebya Uganda, bano nga bambagamba bano abavubuka babulako bubuzi kuba namundu to become a militia bingi, era akatambi ako kadde katambula nnyo. So mu nsonga ezo wetwalabidde ng'omwami Muhoozi Kainerugaba ayogera ku kyagenda okukola NUP ate kati byatandise dda ababakutte mu mbeera eyo yennyini. So Chairman Nyanzi ne Wise wa Mufumbiro tujja kuba nga tubabuulira biki ebinaaba bivudde mu nsonga ezo. Nga nkyali ku nsonga za NUP particularly Kyagulanyi ono abadde musaale nnyo okugamba nti bannange ebigambo, in fact abadde akosa nti ebintu ebibaddewo catastrophes ezibaddewo mu history y'ensi generally si Uganda yokka but the whole world etandika na bigambo ng'asaba bannayuganda bannange ebigambo bya Muhoozi Kainerugaba tebabitwala ng'ebigambo ebitono, era abadde akyogeranga nnyo nti holocaust n'ebintu ebityo ebibadde bibeerangawo in the history of this country bibadde bivanga ku bigambo ebyogerwa, ng'agamba bannayuganda tubeere basaale obutakkiriza bigambo obutajasitwala bigambo bya omwami Muhoozi Kainerugaba lightly, era n'asaba bannayuganda babeere very careful mu nsonga ezigenda mu maaso mu ggwanga lya Uganda. Tujja kuba nga tubabuulira kiki ekinaaba kivudde mu mawulire bye banaaba tugambye naddala ku nsonga z'abano abakwatiddwa Wise wa Mufumbiro ne munne omwami gwe bayita Chairman Nyanzi banna NUP. Tujja kuba nga tubabuulira everything ekinaaba ki unfoldinze mu mbeera eyo yennyini. Nja kumaliriza n'ensonga za Minister Chris Baryomunsi. Minister Chris Baryomunsi nabagambye nti yagenze n'amiitingako omwami Dr. Kizza Besigye ng'ali mu kkomera, naye ate abantu abasinga naddala mukyala wa Dr. Kizza Besigye yagambye mutayagala mwami ono kumpi na bbaawe naga atamwesigirako ddala, era yasabye nti ebigambo ebiri mu kwogerwa bali omunsi ono tubikwate in context, naye ate n'agamba nti kyonna ekinaaba kibadde ku mwami Dr. Kizza Besigye ng'ali mu kkomera it's a direct tukiteeke direct ku Mr. Baryomunsi ne President wa Uganda omwami Yoweri Kaguta Tumuhairwe Museveni. But how practical is this? Abantu na Uganda bo bangi aboogera nti omwami ono Baryomunsi abadde wakati nnyo wa catastrophes ez'enjawulo, ijjukire mabega kaawo mu nsonga za Nebanda ebyabaawo ne Chris Baryomunsi okutuuka okukwatibwa. In fact after okukwatibwa okwo wetwalaba ng'afuna n'omulimu ogw'okuba ng'akola mu cabinet oba nga minisita wa Museveni mu nsonga ezo. So Winnie Byanyima ye yagambye nti ekyo n'ekinaabeera ku bbaawe directly akiblaminga ku mwami Baryomunsi, naye ate n'omwami Yoweri Kaguta Tumuhairwe Museveni mu mbeera yennyini. Kati kamalirize n'ebiri wabweru w'eggwanga mu ggwanga erya Democratic Republic of Congo. Omwami Felix Tshisekedi ate atandise okuba nga akyusa ebigambo olunaku lw'eggulo yadde appearingako ku mukutu ogumu, n'agamba nti ebyaddala wadde Rwanda eri mu nsonga zaabwe omuntu gw'amanyi ali emabega waba M23 officially wadde ali unofficial naye ye gwamanyi nti yono agambye ate Joseph Kabila. Jukira Joseph Kabila ono yaliko president w'eggwanga ya DRC. In fact Felix Tshisekedi yakuba Joseph Kabila akalulu mu 2018 okumujja mu ntebe ey'okukulembera eggwanga eryo, naye ate ebituuse wano omwami ono alinga ali confused omwami Felix Tshisekedi kubanga yasooka kwesiba ku Rwanda yesibyeko ku Kenya oluusi ayogedde ku Uganda, kati wuuyo ate atandise okugamba mu Joseph Kabila yali emabega waba M23. Jukira aba M23 bano wetwogerera nga bakutte n'ekibuga ekya Bukavu bakunaleko ne ku airport ey'ekibuga ekyo, ekibuga ekyokubiri ekisinga mu bunene mu Eastern DRC Congo. So abasajja bano aba M23 si baakuzannya ebintu babikwasiza amaanyi mu mbeera eyo nyini. Banange tugenda kuba nga tumulamu kuba akadde kaakano kampeddeko ziri eddakiika 23 ezakayita ku ssaawa 2 ez'okumakya. Leka tumulemu tukomawo ngenda kudda n'omwami Dennis Tumuhairwe tube nga tunyumya ku mboozi ezigenda maaso mu ggwanga watyo ne wabweru w'eggwanga. Nze Edgar Mathew Karuhanga. Let's take a short commercial break. Digital TV. We'll be right back.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Looking for a pair of shoes? Less Up Stores has a wide range of selection for unisex footwear. We have the best quality of all brands at pocket-friendly prices, and we make deliveries countrywide. Just place your order or reach us on 0772 08 0090. You can also check up at Less Up Stores on all our social media platforms. Less Up, craft your own footprints.
Hi Rogers, can I ask you something?
Shoot.
What does corruption mean?
Well, summarily, corruption is abuse of public power for personal gain or for the benefit of a group to which one owes allegiance. For example, when a public office is abused by an official accepting or soliciting a bribe. By the way, private people can be corrupt too, like bribing police officers to escape fines.
Okay. So exactly how does that concern me?
Well, do you pay taxes?
I guess, yeah. What does that have to do with this?
Everything. Because those taxes you pay are supposed to facilitate services you use, like water, electricity, roads construction, medicines in hospitals, name it.
Okay, that is much bigger than I thought. But it can be stopped, right?
Well, yes it can, although it may not be as easy as it sounds. And here is the reason why. Corruption roots are grounded in our country's social, political, economic, bureaucratic traditions and policies.
So, what has kept it going this long? I mean, why don't we stop it?
Well, the main reason why it has been here for so long is because institutions are weak, either as a result of poorly defined ethical standards of public service, weak administrative and financial systems, or ineffective watchdog agencies.
What can we do to stop it?
At a national level, we must focus on strengthening the independence and effectiveness of public institutions that fight corruption. At a personal level, we must commit to never giving a bribe.
I promise I'll never give a bribe.
Well, that's a great decision you have made. Me and you now have to spread this message to all our friends. If we all do our part, corruption will be no more.
This message is brought to you by Alternative Digital. At first, we hit your gadgets with our state-of-the-art digitalized mobile studio with the debate on the road behind the wheels. Later, we launched our magnificent studios located on Plot 1A, Sewagude Close, Lukulinanganda, Machinde, Kampala, where we bring to you our must-watch shows like The Mighty Drive, Monday to Friday, 8 a.m., Hotline, Mondays, 7 p.m. As for legal matters, Twins at Bar, Tuesdays, 11 a.m., Wednesdays, 6 p.m. is Afro-Caribbean Link, where we connect Africa with the Caribbean. Voltage on Thursdays, 7 p.m., featuring a youthful panel. Interface with Dr. Kiza Besije every Friday, 12 p.m. with his call to action against injustices. Snap Talk, Saturdays, 6 p.m. with the trio. A must-watch, The Political Dice, Sundays, 8 p.m. with the duo that never stammers, and so much more. Watch us live on all our social media platforms. We are the Alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Ochali ku Digital TV nze Edgar Mathew Karuhanga edakika zino ziri 29 ezakaita ku 2 ez'okumakya. Nsooka okubanga nkyusaamu ku mawulire gemba wadde wayise omufumbiro ye yapostinze ku mukutu gwe n'akakasa nti yasobodde okuba nga escaping oba nga atoloka okuba nga awonna okutwalibwa abakwata mundu abatutte chairman Nyanzi. So si kituufu nti mufumbiro ali mabega wa mutayimba wetwogerera. Yes, ali free era ye mu bigambo bye yasobodde okuba nga escapinga. nga wena batusuubiza nina omutunuzi w'ensonga naddala ez'obufuzi mu ggwanga lino y'omu ku founding members aba People Power Movement, whereas some people are contending that statement ngenda kimubuuza era agamba is one of the former personal aides of Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, omwami Dennis Tumuhairwe. Sigwe mulundi ogusoose okubanga tubeera naye, tutera okubanga tumukyaza wano ku Digital TV, era kibeera kya ssanyu buli we tumukyaza n'atululira ku nsonga n'atubuulira ye mu ndaba ye eggwanga lya Uganda lino liragawa, naddala nga tuli mu political season. Ate ye kikyalaba, is the opposition really ready okubanga etwala obuyinza? Lumu naliko n'omu ku ba opposition figures n'agamba naye mwe mutera nnyo okwagala just okusconinga. What are you doing also in changing the nation if you're saying the opposition is not doing enough? What are we doing as a people? Ekyo nakyo ngenda kuba nga nkibuuza omwami Dennis Tumuhairwe. Tuli ku Facebook, The Alternative Uganda, tuli ne ku YouTube same page, naye also so tusangane ku Digital TV. Wonna gye tuli okubanga tunyumya naawe muna Uganda alieyo ne wabweru w'eggwanga tukwaniriza nina omwami Tumuhairwe nkwaniriza nnyo nnyo. Tugezaako okubeera mu Uganda no thriving abaga mumanyi innovations zino tezitala mala mwaka omala omwaka kati tuli myaka ena tugamba mbu at least there is something.
You've done so much progress and mugaseko etoffaali ddene nnyo ku ggwanga. The new age, the new era, I think it's the way to go. Era you have embraced this new era. Era ffe tubenyumirizaamu nnyo. You have hosted the great of one of the great of the greatest. So ffe tuba mukisa nnyo kubanga musobola tukyaza wano.
Mazima ddala naffe era tusanyuka sebo buli wojja n'otukyalirako. How are you?
I am all right. How are you, sir?
I am excellent.
Yeah.
Eyo gy'otambulira bannayuganda bagamba bati.
Tetuli bulungi. Uganda is bleeding. Yeah.
Bleeding?
Yes, Uganda is still bleeding, has been for quite some time. Tebinaba kulongoka. We have gone through a lot of trials as a country, as a people. Tulowooza nti bannayuganda babonyaabonye nnyo. Esaawa by now twandibadde twafuna freedom. Bano abakwata mundu we bajja. We thought that by now, considering our history of colonialism, then liberation from the same, then the first leadership, which was characterized with a lot of uncertainty and turmoil, because Ugandans had sacrificed at least a number of lives abafa, and the promise of the NRM government ngejambuyinza twalowooza nti it would be something to write home about. Nga Uganda ndibadde by now after 40 years of NRM, almost 40 years, twandibadde tuli mu kwesiima. But far from it, we are still in the same old suffering.
One would say that
we are not.
The war was 40 years ago. It ended 40 years ago, and you have had a semblance of peace. In fact, you brought the narrative of
the absence of war is not necessarily peace in itself. Because you might not see guns and whatever tear gas flying around, but when people are hungry or people are being kidnapped and silently being silenced and killed and tortured, and the fact that the constitutionalism has now become an illusion is also a very, very something disheartening. For example, nga tuvude mu musango gwa Dr. Michael Kabaziguruka. We thought that by now all political prisoners would be released. Twalowooza nti because Charlie clear, the Supreme Court had pronounced itself. Nejawo the court martial. Yes. So abantu bonna abali bakwatibwa mu court martial tusuubira nti by now bandi bali tebakyali mukomera. Reason being nti toina ode bakwata. Twalowooza nti we thought that the following day all people in the court martial would be released. If there are any cases against them, babanga tebafulumye eggwanga, the DPP can prefer new cases against them.
Chebagamba nti bana mbate mswaya kubata mkwate emisango mujiteke mu civilian courts. That was even the order.
That was simple. But as we speak now, we don't have a constitution.
2 weeks down the road.
The constitution is tumaze myaka 2 weeks kat now kati tuna constitution nga baje overthrowing. It has been overthrown.
But you know, are you hearing the statements you're using?
We don't have a constitution now. Yeah, because the fact is
Uganda bleeding.
Uganda is bleeding.
Kati ogamba mundu tetulina constitution. Sema teka si afuga.
Tuli kumukono gwa mundu. We are being ruled by the arm of the gun because there is no order that is keeping the prisoners in the Dr. Besije and all other prisoners inside the prison. Tewali order.
Techikugumya Minister Norbert Mao agamba mbuno yes twawulira katuli mu kutegeka kwate kisobola kolebwa mu lunaku lumu. Naga Attorney General yaragide the court martial. We in the process we are trying to document these things and hand them over to the DPP aja awere nembeneji nemisala.
No, contrary to what they are trying to, because clearly as you see they are trying to maneuver to find a way of working it out. But the order was clear. It said that all cases that were being tried by civilians in the court martial should stop immediately. That meant that the following day there was no prisoner
after that declaration.
Exactly, that there was no, after that declaration there was no prisoner of a court martial that was a civilian posing in a badge yachi, an active serving officer. Until any civilian, their case was supposed to cease immediately. So we expected them to be released there and then.
Yes.
And but now, you don't now try now to you cannot now buy a suit and again start cutting your. You can't. So once you get into here. Already the cases have been decided. The case has been decided. Gocho no kola chiri chimuchoka act upon the case. Simple as that. If you have charges against them, abantu webalite baduse mu gwanga. Then okumenya semateka. Court beragira begamba to release. You release. Because it was clear. If they say release, you release. If you are serving a sentence, otandika kubala from day one. Now the 2 weeks they are in the prison. How are they in prison for the 2 weeks?
So President Yagamba, this country is not ruled by judges.
Yes, that's Changama and
It is ruled by Ugandans.
That is not Uganda. Ugandans are rule the country through a constitution. We are ruled through the constitution. That constitution is the one which puts in place the executive, including the president. The president gets his powers from the constitution. Museveni tabera obezi takera bugezi kumachana abera president. Nti
si eteka.
Eteka ledi mutekawo. Ekitabo kya constitution kikimutekawo. Bwe kimalo mutekawo kitekawo abalamuzi. Ekitabo kyennyini ekyo. Ne kitekawo parliament. Naffe bana Uganda abanansi kituwa bye tulina okukola. So eteka bwe baligamba nti president okoma wano naye abaake ekkomo. Ye tayinza kusalawo n'agamba mbu ye nga ye president mbu taswana ku interpretinga. It's not his duty as a president to interpret for us the constitution. His duty is to follow aba interpreting amateeka balala gusimuli mugwe eteeka teremu neda. So it's not the duty of the president to interpret the constitution. His duty is to follow the constitution. In fact, what does it say?
The people who are supposed to interpret, I think it's the judiciary.
The judiciary.
Yes. Chebakoze. Kubapo bagategeera ne bagasunso ne bagamba fenga mu ndaba yaffe kino ekiri muteeka tekikwatagana lino oba eteeka lino tuufu oba si tuufu gwe mulimu gwabwe.
And they did a very simple job. First of all, they did not say never charge them. It was simple. Ekyokubiri, I just even wonder why even in the civilian courts, myself,
yes, sir.
There's not been justice. Even the civilian courts. I have a friend, this Umar Magara, who was recently a candidate in Kawempe.
Yes.
He was in prison for 2 years. No, 2 He was arrested a few years ago, around 2020. 22
Okay.
So he was arrested, he spent 2 years. He was recently released, but he was being charged in a Naweru court, a normal court, but he was not released until 2 years. So under what law? Under what law do you detain somebody, even if they are terrorism charges, for 2 years? So if there are any cases,
Yes, sir.
if Museveni can actually still hold these Ugandans illegally, but in a constitutional way, because
In a legal way.
in a legal way,
But
because
in an illegal manner.
without overthrowing the constitution, because now they have overthrown the constitution. How they could be even smarter. Museveni is actually getting old. His people are just even not smart at all. The smartest thing they could have done is say, now it is simple. We have released you from prison. DPP has prescribed charges related to such and whatever, trumped up as they are, because now basically was arrested in Kenya, charged for
possession of weapons in Kenya. Jurisdiction.
Now in our courts here, there is what they call jurisdiction. I think when you are, for example, if I'm arrested from here, I'm taken to the next course, the nearby
area
court, because it is called
jurisdiction.
This is a scene of crime.
Yes.
So I think the next court should have the jurisdiction over my case.
Exactly.
So
Makindi.
Katowe Kenya bamutwalawa.
Kenya, Nairobi, wamkwatide Nairobi, ina mtu anamkotie Nairobi.
Kakati the civilian arrangement, I think did not suit for them. But since they are trumped up charges, they would have released the message and arrest him for being idle and disorderly. Waiting for him to come to Kampala and arrest him. Or say, for example, there is a case against him in High Court with Mukaku. They would say, your bail has been cancelled. If Museveni wants
to
already. Nogamba, your bail has been cancelled. Kakati sigara mukomera. Because Babade Machikora still, but overthrowing the constitution.
What does that speak about when it's now a place where there is no shame, where I'm going to overthrow the constitution?
It talks about,
where's the heart?
No, it speaks about the weakness of Ugandans. Tulibana funyonga bana Uganda. We are so weak because that document that puts in place the president and executive and the parliament also gives us some powers. In Article 3, it says we have the duty as Ugandans to resist anybody or authority that attempts to overthrow the constitution.
In any manner, in fact.
And we are allowed to use any what? Any manner, any way. Now, we have a president and his system that have overthrown the constitution. And what have we done? We are looking on. We should have started as yesterday. That is why I welcome the decision by the joint opposition. I think it has been long overdue. We should have announced this about a week ago when basically was not released. Because, and even the thing of saying in 48 hours, I think that is even far. We should have started like today. Because now this is about the constitution. We can lose everything else. These are things we can, but by the time now we don't have a constitution, then as Ugandans, we have nothing.
You want to overthrow a state? Is that what you're trying to say?
No, we want to overthrow, we want to protect the constitution. It says, I don't have my constitution here, you can look for Article 3. It says we have to fight to restore constitutional order. Article 3 of the constitution empowers Ugandans to use all means necessary to resist anybody who is trying to overthrow the constitution, and we fight and restore the constitutional order. And Stephen said that in Article 4, I think, that everybody who is involved in the attempt to restore a constitution will commit no offense. In my attempt to restore constitutionalism in Uganda, I have no offense. So if Museveni is overthrowing the constitution and I fight him, using any means, the law, this book that puts Museveni in that position, protects me also. I have no offense. So Siba na Msango, wekela kumacha ngama ati katugana wane Museveni. Obatko samanyichi, because tumusubiro kwa kati yatada abasibe. Yabajadda mukomera. Neko banga chaba ina. Eteka litukaka.
And you agamba this is a wrong decision.
Yeah, and that's not his place. Decision ni oba wrong oba ntuufu.
Mbi decision sijikiriziganya nayo yo.
Taina kukiriziganya na decision. Museveni tali wagulu amateeka. Eteeka lyateekawo kooti eyo. And the kooti walicho bayita olimu lw'amalamuzi walicho bayita discretion. The court has its discretion. Etunula mu nsonga n'esalawo. era eteeka judicial officers bagamba nti tebajja kuwuliriza muntu yenna oba obuyinza or authority when they are making their decisions. Otegera. So court teyebuza ku Museveni because ate Museveni ate akwata abantu. And people are arrested without charge, without any cases, without on trumped up charges. Now when they are taken before a court of law, now they go and argue their innocence. Now if their innocence is proven, now the other one, the accuser, has no opinion about it. Nedda. We have competent people. Atebe Yaronda.
Interest in Musango.
These are the judicial officials that they appointed himself. The president is an appointing authority. He appoints the judicial officers. That is where it ends. Then, for them, they are mandated to act independently. Now, when they are acting independently,
yes,
and they find somebody, they are not supposed to be influenced by any person, even if including their appointing authority. Now, if they find somebody is innocent, now the accuser, even when he's the one who appointed the judge, has nothing to say about their ruling.
Wadenga gweya muomu.
Wadenga uwa muomu.
Yukatumuleka akola omulimu.
Aba eteka limugamba. To mugambe nga toyinza na mu influencinga kumugamba ati nomusalire. So ekibonerezo oba ensalawo yaabwe batekusanyusiza gwe ng'omukulembeze. Ekyo kimire okigumire. That is how democracy works. So the man who came from the bush nga preaching a democracy.
One of the pillars.
Alabikanga yerabidde ne byalwanirira. Because toyinza kubeera ng'owakanya decision y'abalamuzi. Omulamuzi gwe walonda mwennyini nga teteeka limukkiriza okuwa ensala nga tali mu kyekubiira oba nga tali influenced. Kati bw'awa ensala n'owakanya ate ng'okimanyi bulungi tewali tteeka muwakanyiza. Amateeka tolina tteeka likukkiriza kuwakanya nsala ya mulamuzi. The president talina power wadde n'aka okuwakanya nsala ya mulamuzi yenna. Nedda. Bw'aba nga ye asobola okuwa opinion. Of course he has a right as any Ugandan. President alina right nga nze okugamba munnange ensala eyo sikanyiza nayo. Naye toyinza gamba nti njiwakanya. No.
Nti n'owatu okanyiza nayo jaji implement.
Ogigondera eba ntuufu according to the law.
Kati wowulira omuduumizi w'amagye agamba he was shocked. Nakoze kigambo it is unacceptable.
Kati eje nkugamba eyo, that is the impunity we talk about, where the general, the good general, the son of his father, they say cut from the same what? They were knit from the same cloth. Ndowooza olaba as father, like son. So wabanga taata we eyamuzaala. Now that proves to you kyekikolaga nti ddala ono taata wooli. That shows you.
Naye kati akute office ey'amaanyi ono ye muduumizi w'amagye g'eggwanga lino.
Yeah.
Agalina, like he commands all the agencies that are supposed to enforce.
Personally, me have no problem with General Muhoozi Kainerugaba being the CDF of this country. I believe he has the qualifications as an individual because I've seen him in the army. The last time I started knowing the general after school, he joined the army, and he has risen through the ranks a little bit faster than others, but you'd say, Kale. Granted, the only challenge I have that we expected General Muhoozi to grow up and act it and give the position he's in some respect. If you are the commander-in-chief, I have no problem with Muhoozi being the general, the CDF, is it?
Chief of Defense Forces.
CDF. But my issue is he does not have any respect for that office. Office tajiwa kitiibwa, office agiswaza, akola ebintu ebitajja. Now, he should be, his roles as the commander would be to protect. He's also below the constitution, not above the constitution. He has a book he serves. He knows he's supposed to protect Ugandans and abide by the rules of the land. He has no place giving his opinions his sentiments.
He's also a presidential advisor.
What they speak with his dad. Over a cup of tea, I don't know. They should not see the light of the day. Those are their personal opinions. His duty as General Muhoozi is to protect the Constitution and make sure we see, because we have a challenge in this country that people are yearning to see a change of government, a peaceful change of government. At a time when we think his father is about to retire or whatever, we think that now we need a stable army. We need somebody sober at the helm of our army that can oversee transition. We don't expect bloodshed.
Kubanga army is very vital mu history yaffe nengeri ebuyiza gye bukyuka.
Even in transition. Yes. In transition amaje ga amanyi nnyo nnyo ga mugaso.
Ngabere nnyo vital.
Bulaba akulira amaje mu kiseera nga tuli mu mbeera eya transition nga yayisa ngwa mwami Muhoozi bwe yeyisa. That is a recipe for disaster. We don't want that. In Ghana, there was a time when there was a change of guard. Yalimu government in Asoka, Ghana. It was the CDF at that time who went to the opposition offices and actually decorated the other gentleman who had won Nagafe to serving at the office. We don't serve the person. Yes. It was very vital. But if the army had decided to side with this person, but it shows you the vitality. One of the tools that propel democracy is there such institutions like the army world over, not only here but world over. We saw even Trump wanted to abuse the army in his first term, but they resisted him. So you need a sober army. So Muhoozi should know his position in this country. It's very important.
We thought,
me myself, we are trying to now to rethink our earlier positions. Nalinda wasn't tight. It's not a problem having Muhoozi as our commander in chief. I'm starting to have a second thought. I think I was wrong because a man qualifies. Babanga qualifying, regardless of whose son he is. I had no problem him being in that office. Never abanga abusing the office. Ichitegeza tagenda kukola betu musubiramu ngabana Uganda. Then we are doomed as a country.
Ngamba yechawanga besi yagamba nti nze ndi also an advisor, a presidential advisor on special operations. Tolowooza nti nja kusirikira ensonga zino nga nzira bazigenda maaso mu ggwanga nga special advisor.
Is his father's advisor? How do you advise your father? Who is your appointing authority?
Tosobola ko
nene
osobola.
It is a joke.
Gwe tosobola kugenda watata ono mu advice kati ku myaka gy'oli with experience gy'ofunye. I think you are a person who's very good to advise your father right now.
Yes. So, I can advise my father.
Exactly.
I am an independent man. If I worked in my father's company, where he appointed me, as an employee, I work in his company on his appointment, what will I advise him? I'll just say, yes, Dad, you're right. The guy who appoints me gives me an opinion. What would I say about his opinion? Yet he's appointing me, and he was the boss before.
No, he's appointing you to do the job of advising him.
You cannot advise. Some things...
That's why he's paying you, that in Pamagezi.
Especially a man like Museveni, who is known to be the one advising his advisors. A man like Museveni, who is known not to take advice, cannot be advised by anybody, including his son. And a sycophant son, for that matter. So it use that word. A son who does not... I've never had a man, that man disagree with his dad. At least you would say, there are some instances where we have had him disagree with his father. Then you would say,
but there are some instances he has disagreed
with his dad.
That if it wasn't because of my father being here, some people would not be. He says my father is protecting some people that I have wanted to have interest in.
So his father, if
the father is the limiting factor
from him from him committing crime,
doing what?
People. What is it? You wanted to kill people. And he says it's only his dad who is standing between him and. But I think some of those I told them, I take them as jokes. Some of them.
But those are words, and they are coming
yes.
from the CDF.
You see, some could be the same CDF who said that we first, if some statements don't have his signature, we should not take them serious. Now the one I took serious is when I heard from his mouth saying it's unacceptable. And
Shocked them.
That shocked me. I thought the tweets were normal tweets that a man was to joke around. Uganda manye sanyuzo abantu basanyukanye na Uganda banyuba anti ne president yagamba one time kitandise okumunyumira ki Uganda Uganda
Chance okumuomera
kitandise okuwoma Ugandans joke a lot. Ugandans have so much fun. So I thought the guy would be joking until I saw him in his face like this saying the ruling by the Supreme Court was used two words.
He said he was shocked and unacceptable. There's also another third word.
He said unacceptable and whatever from his mouth. That shocked me, honestly, because as a religion man, guy abera kolaki asaga sagamu bya Twitter. That is serious.
Guy gogamba asaga sagamu yegambe wa NUP bagenda muulira recently kumukuto ogwenyini utwogeranga batandise okubanga babulawo.
Now
these are the jokes you are saying that we are taking as jokes.
No. That's why I'm saying I used to think the guy was joking, because this thing, as a person, that man was born in the war. He was raised as an infant in the war. I heard. Maybe they told him he was in Kenya, then
was in Sweden,
then Sweden, but at least he would see that there were struggles. He is a child of the what? Of the war, you would say. Then, growing up and seeing Uganda, he would be a good example to others. And rising to the top post ranks, he would be an example. He would think. But now, if he has not learned anything, a man who went to school, because we're not talking about chaps who didn't go to school, a man who is very learned. And a man who knows what this country is about, the history of this country, and what his position means to the stability and the continuity of this country. Even if it meant his father's legacy, even if it meant protecting his father's legacy, Muhoozi would be an example trying to show that what he's doing is spoiling everything. Whatever small is that ever did, this man is going to spoil it.
But what does he speak when there's nobody who even terms?
And then he has this, who will tame him? His dad? Because I am starting to believe that maybe his dad was long captured. Is it possible that the guy we think is commanding leading the government of Uganda is no longer in charge? You know, when he invited the traders in Kololo, Kasita told him, one of the traders asked him, "Anafuge gwanga lino." That's the first thing. So kutubulire anafuge gwanga lino, and he had no answer. Is Museveni in charge of this country?
Let's take a break. Is Museveni in charge of the country? We go for a short commercial break, and when we come back, we continue the conversation, especially looking at all these things that happen in the country, but also how best can Ugandans deal with these things. They sound small, but yet big in nature, as things that we are taking lightly, yet trivial and very important to the stability and the history of this country. My name is Edgar Mathew Karuhanga. I'm still with Tumuhairwe, a political analyst and also a former member and founding member of the People Power Movement, and of course one of the close allies to that particular affiliation. We take a break now. The Mighty Drive show continues shortly.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
At first, we hit your gadgets with our state-of-the-art digitalized mobile studio with the debate on the road behind the wheels. Later, we launched our magnificent studios located on Plot 1A, Sewagude Close, Lukulinanganda, Machindye, Kampala, where we bring to you our must-watch shows like The Mighty Drive, Monday to Friday, 8 a.m., Hotline, Mondays, 7 p.m. As for legal matters, Twins at Bar, Tuesdays, 11 a.m. Wednesdays, 6 p.m. is Afro-Caribbean Link, where we connect Africa with the Caribbean. Voltage on Thursdays, 7 p.m., featuring a youthful panel. Interface with Dr. Kiza Besije every Friday, 12 p.m. with his call to action against injustices. Snap Talk, Saturdays, 6 p.m. with the trio. A must-watch, The Political Dice, Sundays, 8 p.m. with the duo that never stammers, and so much more. Watch us live on all our social media platforms. We are the Alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
Are you craving for that special meal that will entice your taste buds and leave you with lasting thrilling memories? Look no further. Spice Island Bulenga has got your answer. Natural, fresh and delicious juice, the best meals. Don't miss our daily specials from Monday to Sunday. Pizza Wednesday, Saturday Pizza Bonanza, you buy one and take two. Come dine with us and feel the experience. We are located at Prime Shopping Center in Bulenga, Mitiana Road. For inquiries, call us on 0704111720. Spice Island, we treat your cravings.
The Alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. You're still watching the Mighty Drive Show. My name is Edgar Mathew Karuhanga. We are into the second and final hour of this particular program. I am with Dennis Tumuhairwe, a founding member of the People Power Movement, political analyst, but also one of the former personal aides of Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. We're talking about what is happening in the country, and he paints a gloomy picture. He says, in his words, Uganda is bleeding. And we need to restore constitutionalism back to this country. So,
yes.
How do we restore constitutionalism back?
First of all, I'd go back to the call by Dr. Kiza Besije. Besije aludenga atugamba nti tuli mu buwambe. For the longest time, I've seen him preach all this. We have a problem mu opposition tubadde mu comfort zone. Tugenze ne tubera comfortable. People are looking after positions. People actually resigned to the government. Ne bakiriza government ekoleki ebakulembere. Ne bakiriza NRM ekulembere nga bwe yagala. Accepting the government kukulembera is not a problem. But accepting okukulembera including ngeze emisango eri bana Uganda. Now, the opposition, which was supposed to do checks and balances here and then, is not doing enough. People resolved to simple positions. People in opposition, when they get small intense incentives, including positions, if somebody, it is hard to find now an opposition leader, a serious opposition leader, who is not milking anything from the consolidated fund. Name any person who is seriously fighting, who claims to be fighting the NRM government, has a way he's getting something from the government, from the consolidated fund. No problem, no problem. Sichibo opposition okufuna kasente mu government kubanga omusolo gwaffe. So sichinako buzibu. Naye bobanga position gyoli mu wagamba bana Uganda nti golwanira nsonga zaabwe. ate bw'ofunayo ssente mu gavumenti okusinza mu tteeka ate tukozesa ssente ezo kwegagabaza nga ggwe kuzimba kalina abaana bo bagenda nabo ku Kisu bagenda na mulyango buddo ab'opposition wana abakulembera opposition bonna abaana baabwe basomera wamu n'aba gavumenti gye bakola ki gye basomera. In a country that is bleeding, the top opposition leaders abaana baabwe gye basomera n'aba gavumenti n'aba minister Noah Museveni wasomera n'abaana ab'opposition gye basomera.
Omuntu gwe bawakanya tekyandibadde kibi ekyo singa bafisaako at least omutemwa omunene okufacilitatinga struggle oba ne bagamba nti abaana basomye naye katongeremu kuki kuka pressure ate twesanze nga ate esente ze bafuna zino ziba nafuya emibiri agalwana ne gakola ki ne gakendeera. Lwaki bebalina okulwana lwaki gwe tugenda n'olwana lubanze?
No, you're right.
Why are we putting it on these guys?
Oli mutuufu naye
because they can do as much.
No, oli mutuufu. I think you're right. But we expect them to lead. Nobody, we cannot be leading ourselves. They are one of us. Bali omukuffe, bali bamukuffe. We expect them to lead the way. Tetugamba nti gwe Kyagulanyi gendayo wekka. Tetugamba nti Lukwago gendayo wekka. Tetugamba nti so and so Mpuga gendayo wekka nedda. We are saying provide leadership. Mutukulemberemu, give us a plan. What plan do you have? What is your plan as opposition to get rid of this regime? Your plan is to go sit in the parliament and go home and take your children to the beach and your wives to the beach, to Dubai, then to first class schools as we suffer. Do you have a short term, a long term? What's your plan? So it seems as there is no plan from the opposition. Now, Dr. Besigye has, in the last, I think, 10 years, embarked on a move to tell us to rise up. Now, mu byokwetaasa mu byokwenunula Dr. Besigye, he has been left alone mu masanganzira, you would say. He seemed to be preaching to the deaf. I've listened to him. Educate us. He's my mentor. He has educated us and told us the several ways we could put up serious resistance, non-violent resistance, which includes demonstration, which includes sit-downs, which includes
boycotts,
which include several alternatives that the good doctor has tried to put across in the past few years that Ugandans have just looked on like this. Ne bamuleka Dr. Besigye bwe bamulaba avudde mu byokwesimbawo bano bamu abandoninga bo ne bagenda mu byebifo bamwagadde kati nga balaba omusajja agenda kukola ki kufa. But Besigye is fighting up to now. Did you know that Dr. Besigye, when they went to visit him in the prison, he refused to meet them? Yesterday yaganye basinkana
bagambe yadde
yaganye Dr. Besigye si mugonvu tasobola kulaba bantu omugonvu abeera mu ddwaliro. He was taken to hospital. He came back, he was fit, he could have gone and talked to them, but he knows politicians are masqueraders. The politicians of this time, those ones of positions, want to milk juice out of your suffering. Basiboli, and someone gets pleasure in posting free political prisoners, free our people. Today I met Dr. Besigye. He's in bad condition. He asks for your prayers. Free Dr. Besigye. Ebyo. Politicking. Olina afa. Why never rest in peace, our comrade. We lost a comrade. Some of these, okay, of course you will say some, a few will get some real pain and concern. But most of the politicians you see going to hospitals to visit those patients, going to prisons, are politicking. Are politicians posturing, masqueraders, masquerading around as if they are pained, but they are not in pain. That is why Dr. Besigye sent them somebody and told them, don't come to visit me. I want to hear some noise from outside there, something which is actually tangible going on. And don't talk about me alone. All political prisoners whose cases were quashed by the Supreme Court. So
you coming
to see me as what? Are you my doctors? Doctor, these are not doctors. Why are they coming to meet me? They are not his lawyers.
Are you intentionally distorting the facts of the matter? Did you talk to Obed Kamrege and tell you the context of it? Because it was Obed who met the Bobi Wines and the rest of the team of opposition players.
You see, Besigye is my personal friend. I will tell you this. And as I was Chagulanyi's PA when he was becoming a member of parliament and the consequent time of people power formation, I am close to Bobi Wine. I am close to Elias Lukwago. I am close to different politicians in this country. And I can tell you, factually, that what I'm telling you is actually true. You can believe me or not. And the issue is some people want to sanitize the whole situation. But when you sanitize, it does not help. It does not help. The issue is we want Ugandans to rise and free themselves. Dr. Besigye is not eating food. He's on a hunger strike.
Yes.
Yaganyokulia. And he's saying, okay, at least mfocho kunchalia mukomera sija kulia kamfire wanu. Kamfenjala. Let me die of hunger. You see, instead of eating food, because Besigye can sit in prison for 3 years, and you're visiting him properly, and you're coming back taking photos. We visited him today, he's well. Yesterday, he had pain. Segrinya was there for 2 years. When he came back, a few months, kaput. So, Besigye is saying, Nzokubera mukomera mveyo. Mfe. Because of my freedom being curtailed, at least let me sacrifice myself. So
I would rather die in prison.
I would rather die in prison than you coming and masquerading around as if you love me so much. So Besigye tayagala kulaba ku bantu bonna bajja kumusasira. Agamba mwesasire. Besigye already told us that his years have reached those ones where he does not really need so much.
Agamba yajiweza Bible emyaka Bible kyegamba you have to live this year.
Yatugamba.
Ajiweza this year.
So obudde bwo bwaliko kati kugezako kulaba nga anunula eggwanga lino. So tiyetaga kumusasira. Twetaga kusasira abana Uganda. Tubeko plans zitusala ezunula ensi.
Nzikyebadde ogamba, let me bring a minority idea. Oba abantu tebakkiriza mu kyammwe. Oba abantu bagamba nti engeri gye bafuzeemu gye baagala. Why? These people are nationalistic in nature. Otuna opposition yave eriwamu teri mu ggwanga lyonna. Abamu bawa rejectinze. But this man, at least we're talking about Mr. Museveni, he has a nationalistic outlook. He has people from literally every part of this country. They stand up for him. Can we just say that the public, the Ugandans, have rejected you? They don't see you competent enough to be their next leader.
No, Ugandans have not rejected us. Museveni has just mastered the art of deception and propaganda. And because he has all these incentives that actually Uganda are there, these tools he uses are resources of this country that he gets because of the position we put him in. He uses them to buy people here and there and somehow confuse some of the members. But I want to assure you that this country, the last time I checked, Dr. Besigye was embraced by the whole country. I don't know a region that totally rejected Besigye. Besigye was embraced by the whole country.
No, but we have had
Besigye was rigged out.
That is very true. But they've had instances where the opposition does not even have a candidate, an agent, or omuntu okubanga yesimbawo mu kifo ekyo. And an MP of Museveni comes. In fact, there was a time, I think 2016, where more than 18 MPs came unopposed.
Yes, but I really don't think we need members of parliament.
Oh,
yes. I don't
Parliament
know.
ina manyi.
Parliament ina mugaso ki. That parliament of ours is not of so much consequence to this country. Because as you can see, the laws they pass you could say we have fairly a few. They are not very. What's the word? They're not very simbinyo, disastrous. The laws they pass are not very disastrous. They could have a few excesses here and there, but they're not disastrous. That's where the problem is. I don't know a law. You see, we are in the government system, the democracy, which set up the judiciary and executive and parliament, now brought checks and balances. If parliament passed an anti-people law, there's a constitution, there's a court to go to.
Yes.
So that parliament, biased as it is, it has the capacity to pass fairly good laws.
Yes.
If they are disastrous, then there is a court which can arbitrate on that.
Exactly.
My interest is not on parliament. My interest would be on the country as a large. How do we take over power from a dictatorial regime? Now, a regime has rigged people out of, it has rigged BSJ several times. In the last election, some believe that even Robert Kyagulanyi was rigged. Now, if the government, if the current system, the state which is in power, is rigging out opposition, what is our role as members? Feturo ozanti chechisera to tekeo akazito. I was here with Farid, I think, the last time. Nempa example kunsonga yemwanyi. Nti when emwanyi webali bajisa eteka lya coffee, the coffee bill that was passed. Ngamba, if opposition had put up a semblance of a serious fight, the ultimatum. You see the ultimatum Jabawa Dekati, they were 48 hours. Then they don't sit on it and act upon it. United, they come together as Ugandans. They identify a problem. Put aside their differences. Nebaga abanaye. Tujewamu, buliomu, ezibu bye, tubiteke wabali. Chitugata tulwane. I believe there is no unjust law that can pass in that parliament. I believe that if Ugandans came together in a format ngabo walabye, that semblance, of course there is a bit of hypocrisy, but at least semblance, the semblance of unity, and then they rally Ugandans, they rally Ugandans, and then they mobilize Ugandans. Nebagamba katife, we are going to march to Luzira, and there is no any games nebasituka. I believe Besigye will be released. I believe there is no law can be passed. I actually believe that even Museveni would not be attempting to bring his son or anybody else. He would be thinking of packing his bags. So, the comfort that has been created by the small monies that we get from the government. Singa tezibaddewo sente ezo nti omusajja agenda okulaba nga
parliament afuna millioni anagatu.
Sina parliament, an opposition leader ina billion ku account. We have people leading opposition, but they are billionaires.
That's true.
Kakati billionaire omusubiro kyo okugamba nti
no, but everywhere
people
who have been in power really have been wealthy people.
Yes, so what I'm saying. You see Ruto. You see, I want to think Kenya is a democracy. I want to think that Kenya is a democracy. But in a country that is bleeding, I don't expect people to be in opposition, in high political positions, in opposition, when they are billionaires, or when they have things to protect. Because the man has ruled, he's now ageza kukutta. Ayagala kumalawo. Abantu babawamba, abantu babasiba, abantu bagala bamalawo. Kakati gwaine ekizimbe ku Kampala Road ng'olwa opposition. Oyinza ogamba nti bane tukere ku macha tulumbe banaye tujje. You cannot. So
Oina interest.
Oina interest ogamba why? Kati eri kalina ya wali yange. Mwe munayingira ne muche kalina yange. So mu government bleeding. Opposition temba bizimbe.
Today ku parliament ye. Parliament ye mu mateeka at least so gamba ngeri president jaso ovako. Goita a dictatorial president.
Yes.
We kama sikalulu. Parliament eno yesobola okwekolamu omulimu. Negamba kati fe tukujje ko tujjemu obwesige.
Olokubanga Karuba kabba ne parliament bajiba. He rigs members. It is simple. Akwata calculator agamba and how many members do I need? He has you see the system of electing our leaders is also I would say bogus. We have tried to put up electoral reforms zichaganye paka kati. I've had suggestions where, for example, I vote from Kamocha, from Green Valley Zone. After voting, then I have to wait for the returning officer who is in Naguru to declare me. Yet me, I've been elected in five villages where you know everybody. Tubadde ofena tubaze tumanyi nti ze mfunye bwebuti Edgar afunye bwebuti naye teeka ligamba mbunze nonye nomani jali kugundi kutali center ampe ekipapula kyekimfuula kansala. Member wa parliament bamala omulonda ku byalo kwabeera n'agatta obululu bwe ng'abuwezezza kati ate alina okugenda ku district oli amuwa ekipapula ekimufuula nti yafunye.
Because ono yaba akulembera ebyokulonda mweyo area.
Ffe tulowooza nti bandi badde ku polling station
wekigwera
badeclaringa. If you have counted on the at the polling station, netugamba nti ofunye obumeka Edgar
nti 10
then simfunye meka
2
nti 2 nti nti kale Edgar bana mukakasa nti bwe obadde nti ye sayininga nti kwata kino ekipapula
michale ekirala yafunye
kiba kimala bwe ngate ebyalo byange ne papula nze ngateeka suuti ate kati nuna kyekirala
kubanga oli basobola omuwa sente ate naye nadistorting
sibasobola. That's what happens. That's what happens. Basobola omuwa sente oba president oba system neba ne candidates begamba nti oyayitemu oli ayitemu because bobera kutale sente lwagulu bagamba nti if not satisfied go to what? Go to court. Sigwalondo omulamuzi wali DPP bwaba basindika file there are those magistrates basingiza abo ababwe bebalonda ne bagamba now you handle this case. They know which judges to give the political cases.
I
am that's what happens.
I don't know if if that is the reality of Uganda.
This is what happens in Uganda. Nti omalo okulonda wano nayenga negwe balonze tasola genda wakana agamba nti nze nfuuse nedda olinda musajja kutuula wali kugamba nti akufudde kabere mba parliament somebody can declare totally different results twabira bekayunga and they tell you go to court baka go to court. When you go to court what happens? Go agenda okusala oguli mu court. So your issue of parliament, the parliament is rigged itself. As the president rigs his position, katabane before bya government I need at least 400 MPs. Habonga bayisamu nga basigala katinga now even these ones to make them comfortable bali mekulwana nnyo tufune abamanyi tubaweeyo kuki kubifo. And you know he has discovered the art that some members when they are eating they don't fight a lot.
Can you fight when they are eating?
Yes, I can fight if I still know the cause because in Sende Bwenzifuna if I'm earning 40 million ngama nti abiri ngateka mu struggle nandibali nsimpa structures ndi kurutinga but now somebody is earning 40 million. I am telling you
nayaja kama nazimbe offices myaka 5 nze political party soso kuzimba headquarters zamanyi
offices and what and then what
anti obogamba
and then what you mean that office if you now the one of the crimes
sente ze bampadde ngo ubadde mambu oba oteka ku struggle. No, but at the struggle.
You build.
I've built a school for leadership.
You don't build.
It's the only political party that
you don't build structures. You build capacity. Now, the structure, that structure what today, where nyini muri mu showbiz mukwata bifana nyinga muri ngamari skalidinga abasirikali and they come and start picking like grasshoppers. Abasirikali basiba wali and infiltration bonana bayingira. When you get money in opposition, go and build structures countrywide. Mobilize people to come and take over government. Kate chizimbe, then what? When you command from there, to be command post, how many seconds will it take to overrun that one? Can even leave. Even if you say to simple sawa build nebaja okwemu. Means of wow.
People don't mirundi mingi ngabagal.
So what's the use of that office? So in a country that is bleeding, you build capacity, not structures. So the more you build structures, the more you build your benzes and what, it is all massaging and helping the dictatorial regime.
How much or how much worth is my vote? Because engeri gyoyogeddemu nze omwaka ogujja mu Gatonya ngende ku polling station nondera ki
olonde your vote is two things. It is very powerful in some instances, then in some instances like Uganda it's very useless. It's both powerful and useless. It depends on who in the circumstances. Ojatuka ekiseera nga tekalira mugaso nga bwokataddemu tebakarigadinze bakoze byabwe, then it will be worthless. Then if for some reason, if for some circumstance we put up a situation over a condition embeera egamba nti kakati ffe tumaze okulonda wano tetuvaawo, ffe twalonze Tumuhairwe, we voted Tumuhairwe hiya wakiri tuddemu tububale, then your vote will be worthy, to be so powerful. But if you surrender your power to an individual appointed by Museveni to declare your votes again, how? And it has happened over time. That's what he does. That's what they do. So it is a high time, as the good doctor has been telling us, to realize our worth and rise up. Ugandans tebamanyi, they don't know what they should be doing.
What don't you really know?
The problem is when leaders start confusing us, when we get the wrong people amongst the leaders, when leaders don't speak the same language. When Dr. Besigye was saying these things, his comrades or colleagues were saying other things. People were saying they believe in democracy. People were saying democracy works. People were saying funandaga muntu. When Besigye was saying this cannot work, people were saying, Museveni, I am coming for you. Now, you're coming for Museveni to do what? Are you really coming for him, or you're just playing around? You are just playing around. You cannot come from Museveni. You don't have the power. You're just talking. Empty talk. If you're coming from Museveni, come for him. So, how do you come from Museveni? Everybody can see Ngomunta coming from Museveni. That is why one person says into Munta awakaya Museveni byaddala either abera mukomera obanga mufu obanga mwekizairo. There are three. They said somebody who is really opposing Museveni is either on the run, constantly on the run, in a prison, in exile, or in a coffin. Those are the three people. Yeah. Opposing
democracy
Museveni.
Because Pan-Africanism, socio-economic transformation, need democracy. Those are the things.
You even have a time to supervise your business every morning and afternoon, and it is making progress. You're prospering in a country which is bleeding. Well, so people have resigned. We expect such people who want to grow their tomatoes, oranges, to set up their businesses, to leave politics and join business and be compliant to the regime. But those who really think that Uganda is bleeding, we expect them to be doing more than that, a little bit more than that.
Tumuhairwe. In fact, I'm still with Dennis Tumuhairwe, political analyst.
Yes, sir.
Have you heard of narratives of Bidi Mukaga, MP2B?
Yes.
These things are already here.
Yes.
But there is an opposition figure, legendary opposition figure in the land, incarcerated, in your words, is about to die.
Yes.
But people are gearing up for an election process.
Yes.
What does this speak of the people? Because first of all, these MPs that come that we have said are already corrupted, they are part of us. These are like the best among us. Hypothetically, you would say we basinga kubanga bebagenzo tukulembera. Oba bali we batyo. Atenga tuina ne dictator goita dictator. Ate right now tuddamu twekitegekera akalulu kogamba nti nebinaavaamu tubimanyi already. Kino kitegeeza
there is no lie. Byonna byenkugamba bituufu. First of all, it is a fact that Museveni, according to the system, Eriwo, is going to rig the next election and going to be the next president. That is a fact. Unless we have planned to change some things. According to what I see, nobody in opposition, because Museveni will not set up a system that will remove him out of power. He puts up a structure that retains him in power. Now, that structure is corrupted. We think we can break it. How do we break it? If we unite on that. Now, people are rushing in the election. Abantu baduka kuyingira kalulu. Akalulu ke bayingiramu Museveni akategese mu mateeka ge amafu. Now, bwaba akategese mu mateeka amafu. Kiba kitegeeza nti n'ebinaavaamu bimanyiddwa already. Ebigenda ova mu kalulu ka Museveni kagenda otegeka. So we thought actually that twandyegasse nga Bannayuganda ne tusooka tutereeza ekisaawe. We level the playing field. Because Museveni Uganda si ya Museveni nedda. Uganda ya Uganda. Ya Bannayuganda bonna. So talina buyinza. Museveni has no power, authority okubanga ye atuwaako buwi mbukati kale mbakirizaako mwe abamu muwangule then kino sijja kibawa. Museveni has no monopoly over some positions. Nti ekya president kyo tajja kituwa. Then some position of MP ajja tuwaayoko. Nga walodi meya kale obwo kale kambabalekere. No. Museveni has no power. Talina buyinza bukole ekyo.
Yes, sir.
The playing field must be leveled. Tujanga tuli equal terms. Bwafuna byafunye mu mateeka mu mazima biba bibye. Byatafunye mu mazima abiwaayo. Si kwefuula nti atukola kintu atuyamba. So abola aba warming up nga system badira beri corrupted. Nga nebinaavaamu babimanyi bali benkugambyeko compliant abali ku bifo byabwe. They are after positions, their own positions. And I want to be quoted correctly. I'm not saying getting positions is a problem or bad in itself. If position could be used to facilitate the struggle, no problem.
Aren't they being used?
They are not. That's my contention. I am saying political positions, MPs, mayor, whatever, are not being used effectively to facilitate the struggle. People are using these positions to enrich themselves, set up businesses and make themselves comfortable. So you are not in opposition to fight the dictator, but actually to sanitize him. People are sanitizing the dictator. Legitimize him. People are legitimizing the president. He put up a very nice constitution. It says there is the government and opposition, leader of opposition. Everybody has a budget. MPs have a budget. Opposition MPs have a budget. They have accountability committees they head, which earn a little bit extra than ordinary members. Basically, a member of parliament in opposition or an opposition leader who has won a position is more comfortable than an ordinary citizen or an ordinary member. So now those things are structured in a way to portray a semblance of democracy.
Tuwaliwo parliament, waliwo abantu ab'enjawulo, mulimu opposition, mulimu leader of government business. Kwegala bintu bya bulijjo. Tuli mu nfuga ey'amateeka. Era nga bw'olaba twalonda ono yawangula, ono yali wakubiri, era bwe yafuuka owokubiri ne tumuwa leader opposition, era tutambula bulungi. Yes, sir.
Ate nga si kituufu because the elections were rigged. The man rigs elections every now and then. Abaka ba parliament abayo babawadde naye bakuwayo 50 nogamba yes ndi wamanyi ngogenda okuba ekifuba ogamba tondaba ndi wamanyi nayo 50. What nonsense is that? So it's a whole joke that cannot really help Uganda.
Let me ask you, Because NUP and Kyagulanyi has said that he is going to participate in the next election. My question, and without contradiction, is does Kyagulanyi really want power?
First of all, that question, I want again to give him the benefit of the doubt. Once again, that he has a plan as a politician. However, in the last election, where he said, bafune ndanga muntu balonde, yagamba bafune ndanga matolonde, mubindekere, bikwase Kyagulanyi, and other words, he said it is democracy works. Contrary to what Dr. Besigye had said, when he went in that election, after voting, after Museveni was declared the winner, Bobi Wine stayed in his home for 58 days without saying a word. When they attempted to go to court, the next move was an attempt to go to court after 2 weeks. Then the case was again withdrawn. And he kept quiet for over a month. That is when he said, now I'm going to demonstrate. He did a few rounds, then zip. Now, we are waiting to watch how he transacts himself this time. If, for example, you go into an election and it is what they are talking about, a protest vote. Protest vote, first of all, is a joke itself. It means that you know the outcome of that election, but you're going anyway. Now, if you're going, what is the plan? I want to see that plan. You're going to an election which is already determined. Under what plan? With what plan? If, for example, he's going in an election, and let's say he's saying on voting day is when we start to liberate ourselves, that's a good plan. I have no problem. Because then people, you have built the anxiety in people, then you're going to call, there's a call to action. Maybe the status quo might change. The regime might say, guys, guess what? We think this was a bad election. Now we can sit. But what he should be doing right now is, first of all, fixing the errors in the electoral system. We think that it's not wise. Noza kyabujega. Akusigambo ky'Oluganda. Kyabujega okugenda mu kaluka Museveni kati. Nga bwe kali. Because ebigenda okwavaamu bimanyikiddwa bulungi. Omuntu yenna omugezi yandibadde ateekawo embeera egamba nti at least electoral commission Museveni byogamba nti tulinde by'abakamaalangirire nedda. Electoral commission, ba commissioners at least tugambe naffe tuyinza okuteekayo ba commissioners as opposition. Ekyokubiri, this system, as I was telling you, at least tugambe nti as the electoral reforms that have been suggested, tugambe nti at least ku district abantu babenga tulina tale center ku district esemberayo ddala esobola okudeclaringa final results of a district declared at a district.
Bino byogenda ku tale center
nedda. Nti district bwe tukunganya obwe Kampala tubukunganyize gundi ya Kampala eri wali naguru office ya electoral commission. The Kampala votes for president are mobilized and declared in Kampala. The Masaka in Masaka. The one of Wakiso in Wakiso, Mukono the same. So that I can trace and know which districts did I win. Then I can say I won Kampala with so much votes and this margin. Then I can see Ngata Kontia. How do you? Simple mathematics. But these things of we are voting Ujumula, then one person seated somewhere in Chambogo is going to declare, then he starts declaring from my village of Bitereko. Will say Bitereko before Kampala. Someone will declare Bitereko before declaring Mutungo. Then you say, man, how did you get Bitereko results before here?
And this is a national. It's a nation. Sorry, it's a national election. And
Yes,
it's a nation.
but yes, that is.
In fact, that is the basis where most of the regime apologists based on to say, you people think that that Uganda is just Kampala or the urban center.
It is problematic.
District katinga ewaffe burahya elegu
it is problematic because in the same time when he's declaring polling, when he's reading, he doesn't say let me read district by district. Even that, actually, even if you said okay, now let's say you read district by district, the man can read a result of Kampala, then he jumps to Serere, then he jumps Kabila Maido. Like, man, this guy, what is he reading? So I think it is the whole system is designed to rig elections.
Toze mkibuzo kyange kyenjagala okuddamu mu myaka etaano egiyise kuva 2020 because ono mwami in fact katubale kuva 2018 lwayingira power mu myaka omusanvu gyobala does Kyagulanyi want power in your perspective?
You see, when it walks like a duck and moves like a duck and quacks like a duck,
it's probably a duck.
It is probably a duck. When we were starting people power, I've seen people doubt. That's
where I was even coming.
That is their issue. But when we were beginning people power, the first interactions I had with Mr. Kyagulanyi were centered about that. Ngambuza Dennis Museveni anadamu atufuge. Lwaki Museveni atufuga? And the first time I think we interacted was a time when Dr. Besigye was under incarceration in his house.
2016?
Yes, in his house. He was in his house, house arrest.
Yes.
Then Bobi Wine called me. Then we started talking politics. Then I wonder, why are you asking me these things? They're like, man, I'm interested. This man has suffered. Then then he asked me, why are Ugandans quiet? I told him Ugandans need to be mobilized. We need somebody who can wake these masses. A person with mobilization capabilities like yours. If those youth that believe in you could throng the streets now and demand for the release of Besigye, demand for the victory that Besigye claims, things would be different. So before Bobi Wine joined politics, we discussed the issue of why Museveni still rules us after losing elections. So even before he put in the first foot in politics, he knew what was going on. So I was surprised, really, that when he now, finally, after some years, took over that position, he now either forgot the deliberately or something went wrong. So it's not that he does not know. Bobi Wine knows very well that he will not be declared, because that was the first discussion I had with him before he joined politics. Why Besigye won the election and is not going to be the president? That is the discussion. The first discussion I had with Bobi Wine, it was at his Semakokiro Plaza, down in Kamocha, down. Besigye was under house arrest in 2016, before Bobi Wine joined politics. And he was asking me, why is this man? Because Bobi Wine voted Besigye that time. And I was a Besigye campaigner. So he was trying to get to know what's the problem. So we agreed that it will take more than just the vote. It will take more than just the candidate. It will take mobilizing Ugandans to demand for their vote. Now, that one he knew forehand. What he's doing, I don't know. So to your question, I think I've answered you.
Yes, you have. Some people say that this is an outfit created by the regime itself, by the state. You were one of the founders, as you claim. Is this true?
I was not, personally, I was not sent by anybody. I was a supporter of Dr. Besigye. And I want to tell you, the first conversation I had with Bobi Wine, he had voted Besigye. His brother Nyanzi, to the contrary, in the 2016 election, was on the NRM National Task Force. He had joined NRM at that time in 2016. And that is why I was having this conversation with Bobi Wine and him not with his brother. He had seen me very active in the messenger campaigns, and he had his issues also with the system. Another story for another day. Whatever, music and what wanted him to sing what he didn't sing.
Yeah, tubonga now.
Those things he had, and
He refused.
he had issues with the baby calls and what around. They had some disagreements, and they came on him, and he felt some injustice and felt humiliated in a way, and so he wanted to join the opposition. So that was the point. Then he was active, he voted, then he waited for the results. According to him, the results were clear that Besigye had won. Now, when Besigye did not win, he calls me and asks me, what plans do you guys have as UID? That's when we had this conversation. Now, nobody sent me. Along the way, things start to change as we move. Now, when we move, new players come on board. Now, as players come on board, some that I know, others that those that I've never seen in my political life of about 20 years now. And that is a point when People Power is formed, then we form a political party, NUP, and then now people are trying to replace those that I know. I know faces from, you say face can come from FDC where I've not been a member, but I know this man has been in opposition. A face can come from DP or NUP. I've been seeing him in the struggle, but we saw people joining the party and taking up serious positions of authority in the party. Say treasurer, say secretary general, and we're like, now this man, where is he from? Since when? Where has his struggle been? Then, like, no. We started to smell a rat, but of course, people, they speak as if opposition, then we wait for action. Then all of a sudden, same thing, things start turn around. So basically my point is that personally, during our conversation with Bobi Wine, there was no state influence. You would say when we went to the election of Chadondo, we had some friendly forces that could come and really help, but when you're in the election, you think everybody is helping you.
Yes.
They support you. We got some good support in Chadondo when we went to Chadondo from different players, but that support has come before. Even when we were in DP or what, you can't fold people for supporting you. That's what I don't take for granted. Now the actions, now that's my issue is the actions of the leaders would then have to exonerate them from the suspicions the public has.
Have they exonerated them in your regard?
So far no. Do
they confirm the bias that Ugandans have, that maybe
people have legitimate concerns, and that is why the leadership of NUP has to really come up and show that why does it seem as if Museveni, or by the status quo, the regime is comfortable with their kind of opposition?
Can we call it comfortable when they are arresting, in fact abducting people like that?
They are not abducting. You see, because it is a whole choreographed system of hypocrisy, somebody might not actually divulge true details to their supporters. A supporter might be more radical than the leaders, the commanders. That's what I said. You, Edgar, you cannot command any struggle. We have leaders. If you are the leader, then that's your role. So, but if we chose you, Edgar, as the leader, then you cannot have people commanding everywhere. So, what are the commanders doing? They should not be arrested. The last person to arrest would be the foot soldier. You get me?
But in this instance, they are arresting the foot soldier before the leader.
Yeah. The leader is the one who is supposed to command. But when you see people arresting the foot soldier and they spend 3 years in prison, you're like, people might, then that is the talking point for that group. They go around masquerading, say my people are being arrested. Then why are you out? Your people are being arrested for what? So maybe it is possible. It is possible that the followers are not part of the game, but the leaders are part of a game, and they can only go so much. They can only go a distance. So that is why
you use the word choreographed.
Yeah.
We
play. They put up a semblance of resistance. So those who are following them can actually think that they are in some.
But these people have more than 1 million Ugandans that are behind them.
They don't know it's a game. How do you know if your leader if your leader is hoodwinking you and there are people you trust? You see, we have a cult like following. In people follow some leaders, some politicians have a cult like following. You know, when Chiwetere was going to ban people, after the worship team, he would tell them, go and sell your things and you're going to heaven. He locked them in one room and touched them. That's the story I had. And I've come to believe that there are individuals in Uganda who, when they tell somebody anything, their followers, they will believe 100%.
Gallibly, anything.
Anything you tell them. Someone can wake up one day and tell you Dennis is putting on a white suit. That suit Dennis is putting on is white. Kati olinga agamba nti Kyagulanyi agambye atya nti ya white. Iyo ya white wabanga bwagambye. So such followers will not differentiate. You can just go on with your game and take them along the ride. They might not know. So it is the challenge is not actually on anybody but the leaders of NUP.
Okay. To
come up and clear such issues, because we think that the opposition they have is comfortable. As I've told you, if Bobi Wine and his group, the group you saw yesterday, if they woke up every day and do just a quarter of what Dr. Besigye has been doing or has tried to do, I want to tell you that the status quo would change in this country.
Tumuhairwe, how do you fall out with Kyagulanyi?
As my falling out, as I told you, was about such things that I did not understand. Number one, the elimination of some players that we had moved with. You are moving, then you see, you saw I've been in opposition for some time. I began in about in 2001, when Besigye was joining. I was about 17 years. Then I joined. Then we have been in our hustles. Then I joined UID. I've been a member of the Democratic Party, but I've supported Besigye when I'm a member of the DP. Now, we've had several opportunities to get to join the NRM and just be comfortable. But because we believed that the system is corrupted, we thought that all these injustices, as I mentioned them before, were something we cannot stand with. I thought I would not associate myself with a regime that is so dictatorial, that kills people and does the same. So, when a semblance of dictatorship began to manifest in the NUP, I felt that it was no longer my place. That was my departure. There was a semblance of dictatorship in that group. Then I said,
dictatorship, but do you want to do you have some examples to say that this person was dictatorial, or this is an action that showed that this person was dictatorial?
There was no longer a semblance of group. You see, when you're moving something, a cause, a common cause, it was like, now it started beginning, it began to look as some project to soothe somebody, to make somebody feel good, and a personal project. It clearly became a personal project. That is why, up to now, some members in that party know only one thing. For them, they know Kyagulanyi is the struggle. We have members in that party. I think I can tell you more than 70%. If Kyagulanyi stepped aside, they would leave politics.
They are there for Kyagulanyi.
Now, that's not how they build a struggle. We auspice ideals of that. That means Kyagulanyi, if you have an issue with Kyagulanyi, which is personal, that means you cannot be wrong. We used to be in DP, but I would not. You could disagree with Mao and go to the DP headquarters. You go to DP headquarters, you go straight to the Secretary General's office. President ali mu office ye togenda yo. President oyo twayawukana ku nsonga zonna zino. N'ekibiina kyange wabanga gamba kyali ku struggle tutambuze. In NUP we are a president tolinyawo wali mwawukana.
That is the same thing Bigiro was saying here.
Kakati, what is that? Is that a party? Is that what? You mean you cannot be in NUP when you have issues with the president? What is that? What are they building? What is that? Is that a political party? People in FDC had issues with Dr. Besigye or even Muntu, but they were members of FDC. So, but in NUP, there is no person that has an issue with the Kyagulanyi that will remain in that party. He will either be hounded out or he can even be hacked properly. So, that is now another joke altogether. First of all, he's new in politics. He does not know so much. So tasobya ati omuntu atamanyi abacha nga tasobya nga tamanyi byonna. Amanyimu is quite brilliant. He's a first learner, he's quite brilliant. But he's not alpha in the politics. Some things he needs to be guided and advised. He could even make wrong decisions. So bwogamba omuntu ngoya ali mu kuyiga ntasobya. Then what are you building?
Kati ng'omaliriza magezi kigowa tuli in a political season byonna bigenda maaso obiraba. As an analyst and as a person with experience in the politics of this country, what do you have to say? How can this year be used by the opposition, really?
First of all, I would like to kusaba bana Uganda bonna of opposition to put their differences aside. Enjawukana baziteeke wabbali and try to come together. You don't have to be my friend, as I told you.
Yes, sir.
As long as we know we have something in common. We agree on some things. Bwetubanga tukanya nti efuga biringi mu ggwanga. Bwetubanga tukanya nti okunyigizibwa weekuli. Bwetubanga tukanya nti democracy bamunyigiri bamuvunze. Then you don't have to be my friend. Chenagamba wano bakolegi wano nti ebiri personal tubireka. You don't have to come out with me. Don't go out with me. No. Don't come to my place. Don't come to my home. Don't come to my home. Don't go out with me. Don't take my samosa. Let's meet at work. Let's get to work. Then to move and go a dictator. It's sembera ku Dr. Besigye. Nadala HR Besigye. Besigye has been an icon of this struggle. Erafe tumwenyumiriza munnyo. I started supporting. I joined the politics by supporting Dr. Besigye. Then we went until today, even when he stopped contesting, I understood what he was saying. Besigye did not stop contesting for president because he was weak. He told us that elections cannot remove Museveni. Others misinterpreted it as if he has given them a leeway to stand. No, he was saying, let's use this path. Unfortunately, people didn't follow him, and he thought they could contest and do what he has been doing. But he has been proven right because they have not attained any success in trying to do what he failed at doing. So I think it is high time we actually come together as opposition and devise means. Uganda is bigger than all of us. Yes, we should come together. This involves even the life of a fellow combatant. Dr. Besigye can lose his life. Dr. Yes, Besigye could easily die in these funny circumstances. So I really think that the Chagulanyis, Mathew Simpuga, Elias Lukwago, Council Segona, everybody.
Yes, sir.
I think it's high time we come together and see how we unite Ugandans. Ultimately, as I told you, not only leaders can fight, but they should lead the masses. Ugandans need leadership.
Okay,
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Tumuhairwe Dennis.
Thank you,
That
sir.
is Dennis Tumuhairwe, political analyst and also one of our guests here at TikTok TV. It's always a privilege to have you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. From the entire team, that is all that we had for you this morning. We shall return again tomorrow at exactly 8 a.m. It will be the women. It's always Woman Crash Wednesday right here. But we have these conversations to make Uganda a better place, not only for us, but prepare it for the next generation, because Uganda has been here before. We found it here and we shall leave it here. Uganda is here to stay. So these conversations are to shape a better Uganda for ourselves, but also advise and guide, because that is what we can really do as the fourth estate. We shall see again, as I told you. Ted was on camera, and of course Mr. Mukosa is always in the production, making sure that you get this footage very clearly. Without them, we are nothing here. We shall meet you again tomorrow. Good morning, Uganda.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.